All right, welcome in. First episode, T-Dub's Film Room. Not the first time me trying to record, but I've finally figured out how to do this. So, first episode, again, if obviously you've never been here before, so because this is the first episode, unless you're going back in the future now that I've recorded more, whatever. But either way, if this is your first time watching, the purpose of this is not to teach you how to win at Madden. The purpose of this is to teach you football through tools like Madden and other resources that I'll use in the future. So, taking some of this that we do here, maybe it will make you a better competitor at Madden specifically, but hopefully it'll make you more knowledgeable about football in general and concepts and analysis and breakdowns and all the stuff that we're going to do. So today's episode is all about power. So not as an attribute or anything like that, but power as a play, more of like a scheme, right? A scheme of a run design, of a run philosophy, of a run play. Okay, so in general in football, more of traditional football, but in general, you've got two kind of branches of a type of run play. So you're either going to have a zone play or you're going to have a man gap scheme, right? So either a zone scheme, man gap scheme. Man and gap is kind of the same thing, interchangeable. Power fits into that man gap scheme. Okay, but it's because the offensive linemen literally have people that they know that they're responsible for, whereas zones, more about zones, right? More about space that they're accountable for creating. Okay, so with man and gap scheme, you've got power and counter, kind of your two primary different types of schemes that can be run a little differently. And of course with zone, you've got inside zone, outside zone, and then that's the read option was kind of born off of that, etc. So let's go ahead and get into it. I picked the Vikings because I figured with Dalvin Cook and stuff, they might have some zone or some good power plays. I've gone through a few different teams. Nobody seems to have like just a easy I-form old school kind of without like kind of the tighter set. So here I'll go through the formations here. Like this is what I'd love to run it out of at a pro, but they don't have just a regular old power out of there. They've got duo, which is a little different. So anyway, so I know that they have one here at a tight, so that's what we will do. I love this stretch. I can't wait for that episode. That'll be a lot of fun. So halfback power, okay. And then what we'll do, the reason I picked the Bengals is because I know they have like a 4-3 set, just traditional, and we'll just go Tampa 2. So this is this like old school traditional foundational power versus Tampa 2 as you can get. So if there's anything I want you guys to take from this, like in particular, it's that in general, if I'm running a power play, I'm going to try to run it to the three technique side. And the reason for that is because I've got this double team right here with the right guard and the right tackle. Okay, let's see if I can, So right guard and right tackle. These guys are going to double team the three technique and try to push him basically, to the left. Okay, they're going to try to displace him from that gap. Now this right tackle, he's going to try to work up to the Mike linebacker. That's the guy right in front of me, 6 yards off the ball in front of the center. So they're going to double team the three technique. The right tackle will try to pass him off to the right guard, okay, this three technique, and then the right tackle is going to go to that Mike linebacker, okay? Or, he could work all the way back to backside, this weak side backer, depending on what happens. But in general, he's going to work to a backside backer, okay? The center is going to block that shade nose because this guy, this left guard's pulling, all right? And he'll, depending on, again, how Madden has designed these guys to do this, the fullback will probably get the either Mike or the Sam. The tight end will probably just block that defensive end. And then these guys really are just kind of responsible for backside. So that left tackle, maybe he goes after the backside backer. Maybe this guy just tries to take that defensive end on. But anyway, let's go ahead and run a couple plays and see what happens. So pretty good double team there. Got smoked by the Mike. That's okay. Here's the thing, too, that I think people probably don't understand about this play as I bounce it outside is that power is an A-gap run play. Okay, so really, if it works out perfect, these guys move this three technique so far that he gets about, where the center is initially, and then I'm running it right in between these two guys. That's kind of my aiming point coming out of here. I think a lot of people play Madden and think that just because of, the pulling guard coming out here that, it's supposed to be an outside run play. It is not. It's an A gap, like the halfback takes a step, boom, and then we're trying to lead up straight in the A gap. We'll continue to run a couple plays here, because what you'll see is sometimes the backside A gap opens up. Now that was pretty good. If I had better stick skills, I may could have got a few more yards there, but sometimes that backside A gap opens up a lot, and that's kind of right in there is a decent look at what I'm talking about with that backside A gap. But now, that was a good example. Oh God, poor guy. That was a good example there. Sometimes what can happen is, of course, you've got defensive line slants and movement. So this defensive end knifed inside, okay, and he's going to make it to where I have to bounce it outside. So typically, if that happens, they're doing some kind of gap replace. So you'll see that a lot against, like, defenses will run it against offenses that run a lot of read option stuff with the quarterback, zone read stuff with the quarterback, because the end can go ahead and he can go ahead and knife inside, which if the defensive end crashes, what's the quarterback supposed to do on his own read? He's supposed to keep it. So if I keep it, well, then here comes this linebacker looping around because they're doing a gap replace. It can make it tough. So that's one thing that they've done. So sometimes that defensive end will crash inside. He didn't there. Okay, A gap, boom. That's just something to be aware of. A good running back will be able to kind of jump cut, bounce it outside, and go. But there it is. Man, I wish I could have got through there, because that was actually a pretty good hole. My stick skills aren't great right now. I haven't been playing a ton of this, but you can kind of see where the hole is. I'm having trouble getting there. The biggest thing, okay, and that was a good example. Corner, he's got flat responsibility in cover 2, so that is what it is. But that was the defensive end cutting inside. There it is again, boom. There we go. Got some good blocks on the perimeter. So again, the biggest thing is you try to find the 3 technique. All right, you get a double team on the 3 technique, work up to the backers, second level, and I'm shooting for the A gap. There's pretty good right there. Nice little 4 or 5 yard gain. See if I can get one more here. Corner. All right, so that's a good introduction there to power. Okay, let's look at some different stuff. Let's look at it versus a different defensive, alignment. Let's see here. So we're going to go back to the same power play again. I wish there was more options, but let's get in like a double A gap. I would venture to say that a lot of people online are probably playing double A gaps because it presents a lot of problems. If I was in more of a open set, or just lighter personnel, like 11 personnel or something like that, or 20 personnel, I've got 2 backs and no tight ends, 3 receivers, something like that, then what do you have? You actually have 6 on 6, right? As far as blockers, I've got 5 offensive linemen and a fullback. So if you've got 6 guys on the line, right, you've got 4 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers, then now you're really talking about man-on-man football, which, if that's the case, power sometimes is the best thing to run. So here, let's just go ahead and run a play. See how well that worked. That was great. One thing we'll talk about too is, if you're going to run the ball against pressure, okay, against a blitz, a lot of times power into the blitz is the best thing to do. Zone away from the blitz. So even when guys are walked up, not necessarily blitzing, but they're walked up, flat across the line, a lot of times power is the best thing to run because it's man-to-man football. Everybody knows who they have, and as long as everybody does their job, then obviously, you see I'm gashing them right here. Now, is anybody going to run nickel, sub package against a kind of heavier I formation set? Maybe. It depends, because if you've got good tight ends, and they've got 2 good tight ends, if you've got a fullback that can catch the ball, that's why some of this stuff is fun, because even if I was playing somebody online, they were getting frustrated because I'm sure not that many people run the ball. I'm not sure actually, but I would assume most people try to throw the ball because it's sexy and it's fun, whatever. But if I'm, pounding people, and so then they go into like a heavier defensive personnel, well, then my tight end's going to be matched up with linebackers, as far as play actions or even just drop back passes. So that's, again, that's more of the chess match you can get into with personnel and stuff like that. But if somebody was trying to get into a sub package and stop the run because my tight ends like Irv Smith and whoever else they have, are doing a good job against their linebackers, then of course you should have success here running the ball. One thing I did want to point out real quick. So of course I've got front side. Okay, well you can see their nickel is walked up. They're running cover 2. He's got no personnel out there really that he's accountable for. He's eyes on number 2 receiver on his side. So really what I might want to do is flip this. I've got 3 techniques on either side. Doesn't really matter from that standpoint, but they just have an extra guy out there as an overhang from the nickel. So now instead of him, now we've got that corner who's 5 yards off the ball and spaced out. So you should, that should have been a lot easier than it was. Let's see, maybe one or two more times on that backside. But really, this just shows you like you don't always have to run it to the strong side, right? So maybe this tight end, Irv Smith, was detached and he was out wide on the numbers. I could still run a weak side power, and it still should be really successful. Let's see if I can get a little spin move. Nope. All right, let's try one more because this should be a good opportunity to work on my stick skills. See, I was trying to kind of try it one more time because I was trying to kind of hop out and then, feet in the ground and go north. Let's see. Boom. Anyway, obviously my stick skills are terrible, but you can see all that space. I mean, it's hat on a hat, and that really should be a touchdown. Didn't really mean to do that, but that's okay. So let's get into power out of a gun. That'll be the last thing we look at, just because it is a little different. Typically, if I'm going to run power out of a shotgun formation, I'm going to still run it like this is a good example. I want my tight end attached, inline tight end, whatever you want to call it, on the ball tight end. Power alert bubble. That's fine. I guess I'll have to just hold down the button to make sure he hands it off. But I don't want to run anything too exotic here. Let's just do that. Let's go man. Cover 2 man. All right. Okay, that's perfect. So same deal, right? And again, going back to in general traditional football, the defensive lines typically, again, are going to be slid to the strong side. Well, the defense usually makes its call to the side of the on-the-ball tight end, assuming they have an on-the-ball tight end. So in this case, obviously, that's clear that the strong for the defense would be their left, strong left. So if they're strong left, defensive line is going to slide left. That's an over front. You've got the 3 technique to the strong side. That's exactly what we want. Okay. Now, of course, there's under fronts and there's all kind of different fronts, and they all are supposed to do different things and supposed to take certain things away. But in general, for us, this is still what we want. We want to find the 3 technique, easy, double team. Everybody does their job. Boom. I mean, you see that A gap open up, and that's what we want. My tight end's having a hard time with Sam Hubbard out there. But boom, yeah. See if I can get one big play here. Double team, work up, boom. So that was on me, holding down R2 too much. See if I can get one more. Okay, be patient, be patient. Sam Hubbard killing me again. I just want to get one good play. Almost. All right, so that's a decent start. Again, in general, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the 3 technique. You can run it front side, strong side, okay, to the side of your on the ball tight end or whatever your strength is. You can run it. Let's say the 3 technique was on the other side. Of course, out of this set, you can't really flip it, right? But if you have the opportunity to flip your sides, if you want, I try to run it 3 technique just because I want that double team. So, you can always run a weak side power and have some different kind of funky things going on. Your fullback, let's kind of take this for example. Let's say I was in, like a pistol right here, so the back was behind the quarterback. I could run a weak side power. Everybody blocks down, okay? My right guard would pull, and then, or let's just say I had like a fullback in here too, okay? My right guard would pull and get the linebacker, the front side linebacker, and my fullback would kick out the end instead of like the tight end here. So just some different funky things, but as long as in general, I'm trying to find the 3 technique, and then it's an A gap run play, and you start to build it out that way. As long as you don't have a guy like Sam Hubbard who's just wrecking my tight end over there. Boom, there it goes. That's what you want. So anyway, hope you learned something. This is going to be a lot of what we do here. Not sure what the next video is going to be. Maybe it'll be, let's do outside zone next, because then we can actually talk about play actions off of that as well. But of course, with play actions off of power, I don't know how intricate, like as they actually have like pulling linemen. See, a lot of times they don't. I know like on NCAA they'd have like that, what was that, the inverted veer play action and stuff. That's kind of the only one I've ever seen that actually had like a pulling offensive lineman. I wish they did have some more of that, because that's some pretty good stuff. And of course, if you know of a play in Madden that's actually like a play action, a power play action, drop a comment, let me know. But anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about the stretch, outside zone stuff next, and then that way we can also get into that kind of the boots and stuff off of that, like the PA boot flow, some of that kind of stuff that is off of the outside zone. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time.